Hello, Matt. How good to see you. And I noticed your arrival was extremely quiet. You're driving an electric car, which in the current circumstances of a fuel crisis is quite a good move, isn't it?
Oh, it's a really good move. And all I can say is that it's the future. And I'm really glad I can top up at home. Anyway, good to see everybody here and welcome to Dorset Innovation Park and to everyone who's joining us either in person or on the live stream this morning. We've got a great week of digital inspiration lined up for you. 10 events in 6 locations with 50 speakers and 100 participants. And we hope, Peter, a virtual audience of hundreds, if not thousands of people. There's so much digital innovation going on here in Dorset. We're only going to bring you a fraction of it.
So, this week we're doing it slightly different from previous years. Last year we did a virtual week where we did everything from behind machines, etc. This year we're going across Dorset every single day of the week. It's going to be good, isn't it, Matt?
It's going to be great. It's an experiment. We're doing things differently. Most things are going to work. Somebody might have given me the memo about the Wellingtons this morning, but there we go. There may be glitches. We're doing something very, very new. The idea of this hybrid working and hybrid events is absolutely just been invented. At Digital Dorset, though, we believe it's about taking a step outside of that box and taking those risks. But even if there's a hiccup, we're going to learn from it. What went wrong? What could we do better? That's the way with digital, isn't it?
That's absolutely right. So this week, the first 2 days, we've got the day here at the Winfrith Technology Park, and we're going to talk about that in a bit more detail in a minute. Tomorrow we're in Shaftesbury, and we're going to be looking at the use of digital technology, particularly in educational circumstances, which I think many of you will find really, really interesting. And then Wednesday we're going to be at the Cobb in Lyme Regis, and we're going to look at how we incorporate digital technology into use for coastal technology and coastal solutions. It's going to be good, isn't it?
Yeah, tourism in Lyme Regis, really, really good. And on Thursday, we're going to be going up to the countryside in North Dorset to look at how our farms and our rural businesses will operate and improve efficiency and reduce carbon emissions through digital technology. On Friday, we're going to our fabulous country park in Moores Valley to explore innovation that will bring us better health and social care services.
So today, as I said, we're starting at Winfrith Technology Park. And believe you me, this is just a great centre for technological innovation. And today, Matt's going to be talking to a number of the tenants to see what they're doing, how long they've been here, and how they intend to expand and how they intend to add to the value that they bring to Dorset.
Yeah, thanks, Peter. We've got some great guests here today. The chair of the Dorset Enterprise Partnership, Cecilia Bufton, is coming over to talk to me about the importance of digital to Dorset's economy. This afternoon, we're going to be looking around the MOD's Battle Lab that's behind you, in front of me. And we've got Mo Elabibi from Vodafone who's going to talk about their involvement in the award-winning 5G Rural Dorset project. We'll be inside that Battle Lab, as I say, this afternoon, finding out that it's much more than just a big, shiny building. Why does the MOD need it? What do they do in it? And what does it say about the types of threats we face as a country? But before we go any further, I'm actually quite distracted by this stand behind us, Intrepid Minds. And I'm going to see Adam and Tammy. And can you tell us a little bit about what Intrepid Minds does and this fantastic kit here?
Yes, of course. So Intrepid Minds is a research and development company founded in 2010 by none other than Adam Smith. We basically have a rich history in engineering and systems tech research, and we are proudly the first of what we hope will be many SMEs partnering with defense or bringing industry to defense by using the Army or Defense Battle Lab. So basically we will be bringing hardware, software and data solutions to defense. And at the moment, we are specializing in unmanned vehicles, systems, control systems, digital AI, machine learning, and systems tech, which Adam will obviously talk you through some of the products that we have.
Brilliant, that's really good. I'm overawed by the tech here. So Adam, you know, I probably got my favorite. My favorite, I don't know whether the camera can pick this up, is hanging underneath here, this rather large looking, quite stealth-looking thing here. Tell me what it is.
So that's a 3D printed drone, aerial drone. For this particular project, we are working with the RAF, but as well as that, we're going to be bringing it to the Army and the Army Battle Lab within the next few weeks. A lot of what we do is 3D printed, So you've got the whole digital backbone behind that, and the whole idea that this is now defense on the move. You don't have to have huge swathes of armor moving across countries. You can just take the materials, take the design, and then go and make whatever you need in order to create that effector on scene. So the one at the back there that we've got is a 1/3 scale of something that we're doing for the RAF. It's a half scale of the one that we're doing for the Army, and we're also doing stuff for the Navy as well around that particular tech.
So some of the stuff that we've seen in kind of the high-tech films like Mission Impossible and stuff is now reality, is what you're telling me. You can print it on the battlefield and you're good to go.
In actual fact, a lot of these that we've got on the table here have been manufactured on the basis that we look at sci-fi films, and I come back to my engineering guys on the Monday and say, hey, I've just seen this great film. It's got all this amazing tech. Let's go and build that. And I've got a great team, and I've been lucky enough for them to be able to do this type of thing for us. So we've got the one at the back, which is 3D printed. We've got the one on the left, which is a ground drone. That's called Thug.
Could you say Thug?
Yes, Thug.
Right.
So we've already run 2 tests here with the Army. So we'd like to thank the Army for breaking it twice when we brought it along. This is now the 3rd incarnation of it. But if you're not pushing the boundaries, then you're not getting anywhere. So this is the 3rd incarnation of it. We've brought it back to the battle lab so that the Army guys can try and break it again. The whole point of this is obviously once it does get out into theatre, once it is there, and once it's effectively trying to save lives in terms of bringing our service people back, we want to make sure it's the best product out there. And the best way of doing that is getting it into their hands and go and try and break it, because that's the worst that could happen, right?
Yeah, no, absolutely brilliant. I'm just thinking of that. You've seen it in the films, and you bring it to reality. I'm not about to rip my head off right now and become somebody different. So for those of you who watch the Mission Impossible franchise, so the drone is huge. Why would you need a drone of that size compared to, say, some of the smaller sort of drones that I'm used to seeing in the filming industry? What's the kind of use purpose of the large drone?
So this one, the rotary drone that you've got on the right here, which is Striker, is actually one of our smaller drones. The whole purpose of this particular one is so that it can fold up into a backpack. Now, we're obviously very well aware of our surroundings, our new surroundings here in Dorset, and the whole purpose of this is that you can put it in a backpack, you can get to a location, you can take it out of that backpack, and it can start flying within 5 minutes. That particular drone can carry somewhere around 15 to 20 kilos. Now, if you imagine you're on a beach, you see somebody, flailing in the water, 10 to 15 kilos is, a rubber ring or something like that can go and save a life. It's something that you can put on, it's something that can fly out, drop into the water and go and save somebody's life. It's also something where if you've got mountains or hills or something like that, and you've got somebody with a broken ankle, this has a refrigeration system, so it can take up medical supplies, and it's all stored within a backpack.
That's absolutely amazing. That really, really is good. And then this is the final piece here that I'm impressed with. It looks like a miniature helicopter. Is that right?
So this kind of plays to just the innovation side of our technology. This was just something that we were playing with. It was a radio-controlled helicopter. Couldn't carry very much grams, and had a flight time of around about 8 minutes. Gave it to my guys, and within a weekend, we'd increased the payload capability for it up to about 1.5 kilos and a flight time of about half an hour. Now, again, not huge steps forwards, but its capability in terms of being able to then swarm and being a force multiplier for both the Army, the Navy, and civilian systems could potentially be huge. And the big thing about this is obviously this is an off-the-shelf system, so it's cheap. It isn't like we're having to invest millions of pounds into these types of things. And again, that is the state of what the Army have said that they want in the future.
Adam, Tammy from Intrepid Minds, thank you very much indeed for being our first guests on this morning. That's really, really good. It's great stuff, isn't it? Over to you, Peter.
Oh,
Round of applause from the crowd who have gathered here.
Thank you. That's absolutely right. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm old enough to remember a programme that was called Tomorrow's World. Well, this is today's world. This is something that is used in theatre right now. So this afternoon we're going to be going around the battle lab. We're going to be able to have a good look and you'll see all around it. It's a really exciting area. And just to give you a bit of a flavour of what's coming, we've got Captain Ed Ebburn, who's going to talk through what's in the battle lab, why it's so critical to the services, and what's going to happen in the future. Ed, over to you.
Thank you. Defence Battle Lab's a really exciting prospect for defence innovation, but more importantly, it's a really exciting prospect for industry, particularly those small to medium enterprises who've traditionally struggled to get access to defence users. And really, this is the key to the whole Defence Battle Lab. It's about breaking down the barriers and getting access for all those businesses who might even just have a good idea rather than the product and need to get to the end user to understand what our problem sets are, what we care about, and what we need solving. And in many cases, it may not even be traditional defence suppliers. In fact, increasingly, we're seeing that it's not. Now, the way we've done that is to create 3 floors of office space, that's shared office space with rentable desk space in this. You can come and live alongside us because we're not always best at articulating what the problem set is. Companies, industry, you're very good at that. It's what you do for a living. So really getting alongside us is a key part of that. Bringing your technology down here, showing it to us, testing with us, experimenting with us, evaluating. That's why we've also got a workshop space. It's effectively a blank canvas. And really, it's been designed around industry rather than defence. So we want you to come down, bring your technology, show us what you can do, show us what you can't do, and we'll see if we can help plug that gap. Now, the Battle Lab is more than just a building. It's also coupled with our ranges. So we've got 15,000 feet of cleared airspace. It's live fire capable. We've got a sterile sea area. So all those challenges that industry has around testing and experimentation and evaluation, we can actually collaborate with you to get after some of those problem sets and really solve the problems we have now, but also the problems of the future, because that's what industry does best. It's a really simple concept. It's effectively just getting people sat alongside each other, which traditionally has been a very challenging thing for defence to do. But the site we have here at the Dorset Innovation Park, coupled with our ranges, creates a unique ecosystem where we can cycle and spin rapidly to solve the problems of, as I say, today and tomorrow. Effectively, it's a really simple solution.
Oh, that's really great. Ed, I've got a couple of questions, and perhaps I should mention that we will be open for questions later, so you can put questions in either via Slido, or we've got members of the public here, because I suspect there may be questions for Ed. But I'm going to kick off with a couple that I know have been asked by the local people. Is this just high-tech, or will there be other people used in the site? And is it inter-services, or is it just the Army?
So it's defence, so it's every aspect of defence. And I think in terms of technology, I wouldn't give an answer to that, primarily because a lot of people who we want to bring down here aren't defence suppliers. And defence is a big organisation. So we're a healthcare provider, we're a logistics business, and we have all the roles that you currently see. We're currently petrol tanker drivers as well. But really the key is, if you think you may have something that would be of interest to defence, you can come here. Much of that will be digital. Some of it will be physical. I think Intrepid Minds are a great example of where both those meet. But you may be a healthcare provider. It could be anything.
No, that's really helpful. Thank you, Ed, and we'll talk to you later on today. I'm now going to hand over to Matt, who's walking around talking to tenants in the park, and he's got Gordon Fong with him. Over to you, Matt.
Great stuff. Thanks very much indeed, Peter. Yes, I've got Gordon Fong with me. Gordon moved his business from Bournemouth to the Innovation Park. How long ago was that, Gordon?
It was just under 2 years.
And I guess the question for me has got to be on why the Dorset Innovation Park? And tell us a little bit more about your business as well.
I won't tell a lie. The fact that it's cheap rent and no business rates was really, really quite compelling for us. But honestly, it was more about the space and the opportunities that it provided for us. You know, we took on one of those units behind us in the quadrant, and that literally was a blank canvas for us to build our new data center. And being an innovation park and following that theme, we let our engineers design a new layout for the server room. So they came up with a design which is circular, And the British summer, being the British summer, is only hot, 5 days a year. So they built a cooling system, that knew nothing about electronics. They built a piece of printed circuit board, connected it to a Raspberry Pi, wrote some software, hooked up some fans. So it just brings cool air from outside, and we save masses of costs in terms of electricity. But by being on the park, being within the like-minded sector, we were able to work with Dorset Council and BCP Council on their 5G project. So behind us, we installed 3G masts, and that big yellow van behind there will, one day become a remote 5G network, so people can, test their systems and use our services. But also being in the right place at the right time. When the Army came around talking about their new innovation centre, we've ideally placed. There's the ice cream van behind us. We are ideally placed to help them out with their IT services, connectivity. So, for us, it was, all the opportunities are there. And I think we'll talk about more of that this afternoon.
Gordon, I'm bound to ask, because I'm feeling a little bit hungry. I've been here quite. What's a Raspberry Pi?
It's a small little dinky computer.
I thought it was going to be more than that. Okay, that's brilliant. That's really, really good. But you feel that you, as a business, you've benefited from being here on the park in terms of being able to collaborate with other businesses across the innovation park.
Yes, to begin with, we thought, when new tenants came to the park, we can provide them with some services. But when the Army moved in and new tenants moved in, actually, there's a huge amount of opportunity. And I think the whole innovation space and innovation sphere is something that we all need to be constantly looking inside here to see what's happening, see what opportunities have come along. Because for us, it's been transformational as a business, for us as a business, but also for our staff as well. They're getting to work with new technologies like 5G, drones, et cetera, that they wouldn't have been able to if probably based in Bournemouth.
So it sounds like, and all of that, it's a good move for you, Gordon, to move the business here. So we're grateful that you're here, and thank you for your support. That's really good. And Gordon, I know you're going to be joining our afternoon panel and session today to talk more about how your thoughts fit into Dorset's future economy. And now we're also turning to somebody who's talking about economy. So I'm going to leave you, Gordon. Good to see you. And I'm going to talk to Cecilia Bufton, who is the chair of the Dorset Local Enterprise Partnership. Hello, Cecilia.
Good morning, Matt.
How are you?
I'm very well, enjoying the gorgeous Dorset weather.
Well, I noticed there's some sunglasses have arrived on, but mine are still stuck in the car, so I'm just going to be slightly squinty. But there we go. Well done for coming prepared. So, Cecilia, can you perhaps talk to us a little bit, first of all, explain what is the Local Enterprise Partnership, or the LEP, as people call it in local government parlance?
Well, the LEP, as you might imagine, is a partnership. It's a partnership between the public and the private sector. So the local authority, academia, businesses, we all sit on the same board. And our work is really to find investment in infrastructure, in innovation, and in skills. And it's all about trying to build that economic growth for Dorset and to bring jobs in. I mean, from what I've heard, obviously, the high-speed technology or high-speed connectivity is so vital to the businesses that you've just seen here. Yep. I mean, you can't get more high-tech than what's hanging on that thing behind you.
Look at that tech. It's great, isn't it?
Absolutely. And apparently printing that thing in 4 hours, I mean, just amazing. Wow. And the technology teams that can come here will be able to bring new ideas to the MOD across the board. We also know that innovation in things like medical tech, a surgeon can be in one room and operate on a patient in another part of the world. That robotic technology, as Ed was saying, could be really brought to bear in an MOD type of setting.
So it's impressive. So some people, Cecilia, think that Dorset is too rural to compete in the digital world. I don't believe that's the case. What do you think?
No, I absolutely agree. There's the actual need for connectivity is even greater in rural settings. Look, we're in the middle here of Dorset. And what we've actually got is a centre of excellence where the MOD is going to be bringing all of its innovation and development over the coming years. If we can do that in the middle of Dorset and bring in the sorts of SMEs, that's what the LEP is all about. It's trying to build not only a place where people come with their businesses, but also the skills. You and I went to Weymouth College the other week. We were looking at the development in the engineering teams down there. The engineering courses have changed beyond anything that I could have imagined only a few years ago. They were using AI.
And they're servicing electric cars.
Ah, well, there you go.
Really helpful. Keep it local.
But we need skilled young people, and innovation is a mindset that people can bring to the technology. If they're digital natives, as a lot of our young people are, we should be encouraging them to stay, to live, and to build these types of businesses in Dorset. I mean, I'm sure Intrepid Minds will be looking for some people in a few years' time. I know the MOD is trying to bring in more young people. Here's apprenticeships, here's skills development. Let's do more of that in Dorset.
I definitely saw Intrepid Minds nodding off camera, so that's good to know. They're looking for skilled young people to take the business forward, which is really, really important. And I guess, that point about Weymouth College, about investing in technology and investing in the innovation park, that's a role that the local enterprise partnership can play in conjunction with government, I guess.
It is. I mean, we know over the past, 5 years, we've brought over £100 million worth of investment into the county. What we want to be able to do is more and bring it alongside private sector investment as well. When private sector sees what we're doing here, they're going to want a piece of this action. They're going to want to be part of it and involved because the technology can be used everywhere.
That's really, really good. That's really, really good. So I'm looking to the team here in terms of any of the questions that are coming in live. As Peter said earlier, if you've got questions, you can put them on Slido, or we have got some live audience with us here as well. So we might have some questions coming in a second. So Cecilia, I'm gonna stop you there. And we're going to move across to the panel, which miraculously another chair has arrived. I was slightly concerned when I did the head count and went, there's no chair for me. But it's all good. A chair has miraculously arrived. Well done, team. Really, really good. So let's see if our live audience has any questions. We're going to use Catchbox, which if you haven't seen Catchbox before, it's a microphone dressed up in the festival colours, and it's very kindly lent to us by a Latvian company. Good scrum half there, former scrum half Peter. Well done. Good catching of that one. It's got anti-microbe material on it, so don't worry. We've all washed our hands beforehand, but it means we can pass it around. I'm just a bit worried when it makes it to the end of the line from the scrum half to the fly half that I don't drop kick it over the top of the camera. But let's see what we do. So we've got some questions coming in over Slido, but let's pass the Catchbox. Have we got a question first in the audience? Oh, there's one. Peter's going to throw it at you. Wow, the Catchbox has gone. Okay, first question.
Thank you. It's great to see all this technology and the MOD and new organisations coming up with interesting technology which will bring with it good, interesting, challenging and well-paying jobs. If I could ask a 3-in-1 question. If we had a business growth fairy godmother to wave her magic wand, what would you like to see to improve the prospects for you here on Dorset Innovation Park? And if I may be greedy and ask a subsidiary question to that, do you see it happening in the next couple of years? And if you don't, what can we do to make it happen?
That's a great question. Thanks very much. So I'm going to start with Ed, and then I'm going to hand to Gordon as well. So Ed, over to you first.
So in danger of making it the world according to Ed, but what I'd really love to see is a Silicon Valley-esque campus curated around my problem sets and what I'm interested in. One of the real attractions of the Innovation Park is the fact that it is a blank canvas. There's lots of space for companies to move in. And I think if we get this right, I'd hope if we were sat here in 10 years' time, this patch of grass will now be housing a really interesting company and many, many other interesting companies who are doing the future forecasting, doing the horizon scanning to solve problems that we haven't even identified yet.
Yeah, brilliant. And Gordon, what about yourself?
From my perspective, I think we need more of a training centre. When we came out as a Bournemouth business, moving out here into, it's not rural Dorset really, but West Dorset, let's say, one of our aims as a business owners was to create some jobs and new opportunities for people around here. So we've taken people from World, Dorchester, and hopefully by the installation of a training centre for the future skills that we need on the park, we can create jobs towards Weymouth, etc. Because being in BCP for so long, it's quite prosperous over there, although there are areas of issues there. But when I first came into Dorset as a business, it was a case of really opened up my eyes about the kind of deprivation levels, Weymouth, Dorset, etc. So I think we need to also focus on creating jobs on this side of Dorset as well.
Brilliant, great stuff. And I don't think those two things sit opposed to each other. So I think training centre and Silicon Valley style development here on the Innovation Park in Dorset will be really good. Okay, I'm going to see Peter's got a question, and then there's one more in the audience. But Peter, you go first.
No, I didn't have a question. I just wanted to comment on that.
Bit closer with the catch box.
Can you hear me? Yeah. I just wanted to comment on that particular question. When this innovation centre started very many years ago, it was quite difficult to get it going. We've worked closely with government, and a few weeks ago I hosted the then digital minister. We've put a number of bids into government which have been successful for funding, and government now recognise that as an authority, Dorset Council punch very significantly above their weight in technology, 5G implementation, the Battle Lab, and a number of other things. And what we've got to do is, as well as all of the things that Gordon talked about quite correctly, is we've got to get the political ambition high, and we've all got to keep working to make sure that we punch above our weight, and we do lots of really exciting things. We have to be prepared to every now and again get it wrong, because if you don't get it wrong now and again, you won't get it right now and again. So we have to be quite innovative. We have to recognise that failure will come occasionally, but we're going to get success more frequently. Thank you.
Peter, great to have that political perspective, and you're absolutely right. So I think there's another... Oh, scrum half thrown it out. And there's another question from the audience. Go, hold it as close as you can to your mouth so we can hear you.
How's that?
That's good.
Okay, hi, Sean Gom from SG Financial. I'm not so sure it's a question, but I think I just wanted to talk to John Bird's point and just sort of pull together a few threads. So I've helped, I've worked with Kingston Moorwood College and several businesses on this park, Draper Innovation across the road there, and Britlift, an advanced manufacturer across there. And there's, I think it's clear there's a lot happening in this cluster, and I sort of go out towards Weymouth and Dorchester with that comment. There's one thing I think that the councils, people could work together maybe to start to provide the next level, the next step for some of the companies that are here. So the accommodation that's been invested in is great for, like, say, the initial part of a business plan for the first 3 to 5 years. Yeah. But there are then, you get to a stage where a business may not be able to afford to invest in the infrastructure it needs to go to the next stage. So it needs a partnership approach to help unlock extra growth. So one thing I think to consider here would be investment in bigger, slightly more sort of purpose-built facilities to help attract advanced manufacturing businesses, and to encourage those that are here to invest for the long term, for 10 years plus, and then create jobs in partnership with the colleges and local universities.
Fabulous, thanks. I'll come to Cecilia for a comment on that.
Well, as you know, there's an enterprise zone committee that works in partnership across the council. It works with tenants. It works at the LEP. And I mean, one of the key focuses of that is developing this site further. You know, the sorts of flexible business models that you talk about for people to be able to come on quickly. I mean, as everyone is talking about, we need to test and learn. We need to find out whether that technology is going to work. Let's give people an easy access, somewhere they can come in and try that out. We want people to stay, we want them to grow, we want them to get to that sort of stage. So certainly that's a big part of the plan. And when Gordon talks about training, we also need conferencing type facilities and amenities where people can come and share ideas. That's where things happen, when over the coffee, over lunch, and so we can actually push that agenda as well. Yes, we do need the political will. Yes, we do need money. But I think, you know, if we can focus on actually building the great business cases that we can see here, and as Gordon is and also a Dorset LEP ambassador, you know, going out and selling that message to everybody, I think we can win. And to John's question, yes, I think we can get the money to make it happen.
Great. I'm going to ask Gordon if he wants a couple of words to say on that
We've been talking to Ed for a long time now, and part of the ambition was to maybe create a more of a hub where there could be a cafe, there could be a creche facilities, you know, even a pop-up bars that we asked somebody from Wool to, you know, to try and maintain. And it's a case of building something here that helps, like the creche facility, more people coming back into employment, but also reaching out to the local economy to say, actually, can you help run the cafe with us? Can you man the creche? Can you, create hairdressing facilities so we don't have to, battle our way out on a Saturday? And I think it's important that the innovation park, the businesses inside, should be a part of the community, not apart from the community. So I think we need this bigger mindset that can grow and not just be a small business. And there's a bigger picture here for us to tackle.
Really good perspective there, Gordon. So not just about the digital innovation that's really important to the park, but also getting some of the basics right. So in terms of the basic infrastructure, so that businesses can come here, want to stay here, thrive, grow, and innovate, because they've got everything else around them that makes just life just that bit easier for them as businesses investing here in Dorset. Right, I think I've got an indication. I've got an indication that we've got some questions coming on the slide row. So over to you, Katrina.
Yes, thanks, Matt. We've got a couple of people come through who are watching online. First question, probably to Gordon, please. The Innovation Park sounds like a great location for businesses to collaborate on innovative digital projects. Is there more space, and how can a business move in, please?
Yeah, there's plenty of space. If you look, plenty of green, and I think speak to either the Dorset LEP or Alex Clothier from Dorset Council. So there is plenty of space in Chesil House, office space, but actually new tenants are building their own facility. It is a blank canvas that you can build what you need.
Yeah, I think that's why the MOD came here, because they've got blank canvas and have built literally. How long did it take you to build that?
So the workshop space, I think, went up in 7 weeks.
7 weeks.
And the 3 stories of office space, we've deliberately used a modular design. So thankfully, we've been insulated from the worst parts of the pandemic and pingdemic. And we're on time and on budget. So,
brilliant. Sounds like good. So easy in, and there's plenty of space here. So come on down, have a chat with Dorset Council, and we'd love to have your businesses invest here in Dorset. Any other questions?
Yes, got another one through. We mentioned Weymouth College, but are we looking to involve other nearby colleges, please?
That's a really good question. Well, I mean, at the end of the day, as an education supporter and provider, we're looking to work with all agencies. So we work with Kingston Morwood, we work with Weymouth College, we work with the universities over in BCP Council area. So we'll be looking to work with all educational institutions, but Cecilia might want to say something, and so is Ed.
I think it's probably worth speaking from a Defence Battle Lab perspective, because we're effectively a consumer in regard to academia. And we're keen to work with anyone we can, and we've already have a partnership with with Bournemouth University, Arts University Bournemouth, and certainly the colleges. I see this as a sliding scale, and we need that throughput. And none of these businesses work for us unless they can get the workforce, that skilled workforce.
Absolutely, and I'd say that also as part of the enterprise zone, we're looking to bring an academic focus to the area as well. So again, the more we can bring in academic people with those new ideas, then the better it will be for actually delivering education or delivering innovation as well.
And Dorset Council is one of the largest organisers of apprenticeships, and we will continue to be looking to develop apprenticeships both within Dorset Council and within the organisations here. And we'll be encouraging organisations here to adopt apprentices, and we'll be helping them to achieve that. And I know Cecilia is very keen on that as well.
Great stuff. Well, it's getting slightly windy here on site. Not hot air, but cold breezing air behind us. The stage is nearly gone from it. It flies over the top of our head. But I think I've been indicated there's one more question.
Yeah, just a quick one. Dorset might be seen as a sleepy backwater to anyone not in the know. We've heard lots of great stuff so far from each of the panel, but what do they see as the most compelling reason to bring a business to Dorset?
Most compelling reason to bring a business to Dorset. Ed's going to start, then we'll come to Gordon, and then I think Peter wants to say something as well. Maybe Cecilia as well. We'll all have a go at it. Ed.
Well, from a defence perspective and why we built the Battle Lab, it's a unique combination of geography. I mean, a lot of what we've done is taken successful models from across other parts of the globe that we've seen. But those different disparate parts exist in isolation. And actually, we were able to bring it all together here in terms of having the innovation incubator, which is effectively what the Defence Battle Lab is, but also the space to grow on site and the ability to do testing and experimentation. Combine that with the fact you are only 2.5 hours from London on the train line directly to Wall. And actually, it's quite accessible. And there's nowhere else in the UK you can do this. I mean, genuinely, it's unique.
Ed, just on that testing piece, what you're referring to there is the proximity of this site to other military sites.
So 10 minutes drive from here, because I've timed it, are our ranges. And that's a site where we can take companies who can take the kind of kit that you've seen from Intrepid Mines, which you need a safe environment to do that in. And a range is a safe environment. It's already locked down. It's already got cleared airspace. And we've got British companies that were previously having to test in Barcelona that are now, or outskirts of Barcelona, who are now able to come and do that here.
Oh, that's really exciting. And I remember the first conversation we had about it some time ago. It's great to see it coming to fruition. Gordon, do you want to have say, and then we'll go to Cecilia?
Yeah, I'm seeing more and more people coming down from London on the M3 corridor. bringing their families down because they know of Dorset. So we want to bring those entrepreneurial skills, those salary payments they can spend in the local economy. But for me, Dorset's got the best blend of beaches, towns, hills, and forest. So why wouldn't you come to Dorset?
Great stuff. Cecilia?
I totally agree. As a gardener, I think this is heaven. So I mean, it's the Dorset lifestyle with the ability to have all the connectivity that we've been talking about, with the ability to work with some of the best tech companies in the world. What's not to like?
Thank you. It wouldn't be a session if we didn't just talk about the pandemic very briefly. And whilst the pandemic has been a nightmare for many people, let's not lose some of the impacts and the benefits that it has brought. Sad to say, but it has brought quite a few good benefits. The fact is, working from home is now much more regular. We operate virtual meetings in a way that we didn't used to, which has reduced our footprint and our carbon footprint quite dramatically. We're getting a lot of people who are moving out of urban areas and moving around here because they can access technology and they can go swimming for scallops off Lulworth all in the same day. So we have a number of benefits and advantages that just knock the spots off central London. Having worked there, I can actually know that. So come down here, come here, you'll have access to the latest technology whilst you're able to visit Lulworth, you're able to visit Weymouth, you're able to have an ice cream, whatever. Thank you.
For those of you, just in case you can't pick that up on our microphones, I think it's a sandwich van. Actually, it's going around. It's got a theme song, a bit like an ice cream van. It's bringing back a few too many memories for the panelists here. But I totally agree with that, and we're going to hear a little bit more as we go through the week about our rural 5G project. If you can do it here, you can do it anywhere. I think in terms of Dorset. But one more, no more. I believe there's another question come in.
Yep, just one last question come in. Regionally, the UK has the Northern Powerhouse and the Midlands Engine. What can we do to get government to recognise the South West as the digital place?
Oh, that's a really good question. I've got Cecilia and Peter who are looking to give some thoughts on that.
Well, certainly. I mean, the Great Southwest is what we've been calling it, working sort of from the local enterprise partnership perspective, working with obviously the heart of the Southwest, which covers Devon and Somerset and then down to Cornwall. We believe that working together actually will improve the benefits for the region. We're looking at building a British Business Bank fund in the same way as they have up in the Northern Powerhouse. It's an essential part of actually working together to make all of this happen across our marine economies, our agriculture, defence. It's all happening down here, and together we can do it better.
Thank you. Every week or so, and it's now every couple of weeks, the leader and myself as deputy leader have regular meetings with the 5 MPs who represent areas of Dorset Council. We identify with each of the MPs which areas that we're looking for them to follow up with. And so we've got Chris Loder following technology, and we've got a number of other MPs following up on other areas to represent us in government. We have made it very clear that levelling up is not just a northern factor. It is something that applies to this area. So we'll be asking our MPs, and are already doing so, to take our issues to government ministers in order to represent our interests in Whitehall. And we're doing that much more strongly than we used to, and we appear to be having some success.
I read in the BBC article today that Rishi Sunak, the Chancellor, is about to announce a huge investment programme into science and technology innovation. And we need to pull our MPs, our councils together and really push for that funding. I think it's as simple as that.
Yeah, absolutely. And that connection that we have with Westminster is really, really important, as Peter and Gordon have both just said. So unless I get an indication we've got any more questions, no more questions. Any more questions from the audience that are there? They're starting to get perhaps a little bit wind-beaten and a little bit chilly. But thank you. So that's all we got time for this morning. It's been a great time. Thank you to our speakers who've joined with us this morning. They've done a great job. Thank you to the MOD who've allowed us to use this space outside the Battle Lab and the facilities inside of it. And the support team from the Dorset Innovation Park have been really, really helpful. It's fantastic. Peter and I, we're about to go off and ride in the battle bus. But the festival rolls on here at Dorset Innovation Park this afternoon. We're going to be doing some filming inside the Battle Lab, so that's good, because it looks like the weather might be moving over a little bit. And we're going to be joined by some new speakers as well. We've got Mo Elabibi from Vodafone, who's talking about the 5G rural Dorset work. also with our program manager, Colin Wood. And they're going to be talking about how they've developed this 5G network. Cecilia and Gordon are going to be talking again, doing a little bit more about how our involvement in the defence industry here is boosting the Dorset economy and how that partnership could develop in the future, offering new opportunities, particularly for our young people as well. We've heard a little bit about that this morning. But that's it for now. Thank you very much indeed for joining us. Don't forget to sign up for more festival events throughout the week. You're going to get a little bit of time back in your diary now. We're going to grab a cup of tea and a warm-up. So thanks very much, and thanks for being with us. Goodbye.